Okay, so this is basic cubic right angle weave. You get this gorgeous, really flexible, tactile rope, so it's such a lovely stitch to learn. But sadly, lots of people get put off by the idea that it's really, really difficult. In actual fact, that's not true at all, so I'm here to show you just exactly how easy it can be. If we take a closer look here, what we have are a little selection of cubes. So we've got first cube here with sides all around it. You build cube upon cube to create this rope, and that's the idea that a lot of people find confusing. So let me try and explain the theory behind this before we get on to trying it with the beads. Let's just put this sample to one side, and I'm going to bring in my conceptual cube here. Now, as we're making the stitch, what we're actually doing is building the sides of the cube one by one. So we start out with 4 beads that form this base. If you think of each bead as one side, so we've got the 4 sides here. Then the next step, we're adding on the first side of our cube. We'd already have one side in place, so we're going to add on 3 beads, 1, 2, 3. Imagine that moving up there. Because now, as we build the next side, we've got 1 bead and another bead in place. So we've got 2 beads to add, and that will pull that side up. Same again on this third side. We've got a bead in place here, a bead in place there. 2 new beads to add, so that creates your third side. And then for our fourth side over here, we're actually only missing out 1 bead, this one that would sit at the top. So when that's added in, we fold everything up. We've got a cube, but it's missing its lid. So the final step is to seal around the 4 beads on the top to give it the lid. Now, if you're really confused by that explanation, just ignore it, move on to the next section, and we'll actually start with the beads. But I'm hoping that by showing you conceptually, it's going to make a bit more sense as I'm telling you to add 3 beads, 2 beads, 1 bead, and when I'm talking about sides of sides and bases and tops, and all the language that can just get really, really confusing when we start on cubic right angle weave. So let's see how you get on. Time to get out the beads. Okay, so let's start on this demonstration of cubic right angle weave. I'm going to split this up into small sections so it's all very manageable for you. I'm also using some nice big size 6 seed beads, so hopefully you can see exactly what I'm doing very clearly. And to make things even easier, I've picked out different colours of beads. So we've got black A beads, orange B beads, blue C beads and red D beads. You can use any colours you like, but I was just trying to go for a nice contrast to keep things very easy to see. So let's take my needle and thread. Now the cubic right angle weave starts exactly the same as any other right angle weave. So we're just going to pick up 4 beads. I'm doing 1 in each colour, so that's 1A, 1B, 1C and 1D. If I slide them along the thread, I'll leave a tail thread that's long enough to deal with later on, so that might be using for something else or stitching in. Now I'm going to pass through all 4 beads again, starting from bead A and going through to bead D. And as I then pull up the thread, that's going to form my beads into a circle. I've got my working thread and tail thread exiting from between the same beads. So what I would do next is just tie a double knot to hold my circle secure. Rather than fiddling with that on the video, I'm going to pause here, do that, and I'll let you catch up so you get your first little 4 bead unit in place now. Okay, we've got our first little 4 bead unit in place. Now this little 4 bead unit is actually going to form the base or the bottom of your cube. So I've got myself into position, exiting from my A bead. What I'm going to do is pick up 3 A beads. These are going to be the first side. So to form that side, I'm going to pass through my A bead from the base unit, making sure I'm entering the bead from the opposite side that my thread is leaving it. So when I go on through, my 3 new little beads are making another little unit on the side. Now from here, I'll go into the B bead on my little base cube. And if we fold up that first side, we're going to see that on this second side here, we've got the bottom in place, the B bead, and we've got one side in place, that's the side A bead. So we're going to pick up 2 beads, and we're going to go down through that side A and on through the B. So now, when I pull things up, we can start to force it up, so we've got 2 sides sitting on top of our little base. I'll just let them flop out for the moment while I get into position for the third side, so that's moving on through the C bead. Now again, we've got the bottom of the side and the side of the side in place, so we're just going to pick up 2C, we're going to go through the side, so that was your B, through the C on the bottom, and as we pull that up, we've got another unit. Now for this side, let's force those up. So we've got base beads under here on the bottom, we've got a side of A beads, a side of B beads and a side of C beads. So on this fourth side, we've got 3 of our 4 unit beads in place already. So this time we're going to carry on through the base bead, but we're also going to go up through that side A bead. And we're just going to pick up 1 D, so now we go down through the side bead from the previous unit, the C, and on through our base bead. So we've actually got the cube in place now, but we haven't managed to seal the top, so we're going to carry on and do that. So that's continuing up through the A bead, that's the side bead from your last side. And then, if we move straight on, we can go through the A, round through the B, on through the C, and once more through the D. You just need to carry on through that A again to make sure you've got all of your top side beads joined together. So there we have our first little cube in place. And we're magically also exiting from the A bead, so we're actually ready to start adding on another cube. But I'm going to pause here and let you have a go at getting that far. Now I want to show you another unit where I'm going to do exactly the same thing as we've done previously, because believe it or not, you have actually just learnt cubic right angle weave. The steps we've taken from the last video are the steps that you're just going to continue to take to add new units until you have a rope that's the length that you want. This time I'm not going to label the beads, I'm actually going to focus on giving you a little mantra that you might find more helpful as you continue to learn this. So I'm exiting from my first base bead. We've got our 4 new base beads here, and those are actually the 4 beads that were the top of the previous unit. What we're going to do is pick up 3 beads, just 3, not 4, pass through the bead we're exiting, and on through the next bead in the base. Then we're going to pick up 2 beads, pass through the side of the unit we've just added and the base bead from which we started, pull everything up tight, and again just move straight on through the next bead in the base. Once more we're picking up 2 beads, passing through the side of the previous unit, through the base bead from which we just started that unit, and pull everything up. Then on through the last base bead, but this time we also need to pass up through the side. So we're just going to pick up 1 bead, go down the other side, and continue on round through the base. Let me just turn this around carefully. So that was through the base bead, we're continuing up through the side bead, continuing straight on into the top, and we're just going to seal our 4 top beads. So that's passing through 1, 2, 3, and continuing on into the bead that we started with. So again, we've got a brand new base and we're ready to start with the next unit. And if we break that down even more, you're going to add 3, 2, 2 and 1 beads. So have another look back over this video and just keep replaying that, because that's the sequence you're going to be using as you're adding all your cubic right angle weave units.